professional mobility, he knew that he had to go back to school. In doing so, he worked 7 days a week, attended school full-time, all while maintaining a 4.0 GPA. Raised in the Bronx, Jones has worked at South Bronx Overall Economic Development Corporation, SOBRO, as well as the Good Shepherd Services simultaneous for the past 7 years. As a youth advocate and program coordinator at SOBRO, Jones facilitates a learning and work class at Cortona Academy High School. As a youth development counselor at Good Shepherd, he conducts therapeutic counseling sessions for at-risk youth. Summer 2011 became Jones's first semester at the center. He started slow, taking one class at a time. That one class earned him an A+. He felt encouraged and ready to strive for excellence, and after a couple of semesters of getting all A's, he was able to challenge himself and continue to steady that 4.0 average. In fact, that is what really made him stand apart and become CWE Valedictorian. Jones will soon be off to law school and focus on social justice. He also aspires to become a published writer and earn an MFA in creative writing. Help me welcome Jamaal.
All right, first, I'd like to thank City College and the Center for Work Education for acknowledging my effort with such a distinguished honor. Congratulations to my peers, my fellow scholars. You all are resilient ones. Thank you for being you, honest, open-minded, smart, determined. Thank you to the professors for being knowledgeable, for being helpful, and for caring beyond the classroom. Special thanks to Professor Levine, Professor Schaller, Professor Ali, Professor Orange, Professor Clark, Professor Sweden DeCaro, Elena Sophia Demetrio, Seamus Stanley, Jason Chappell, Ms. Kathleen McDonald, and Dean Mercado. You've all made a great impression on me. I appreciate you very much. And thank you to the families and friends who have supported us throughout the way. We could not have done it without you. I can honestly say that this is the greatest achievement that I've earned so far. Often we highlight our differences, and we use these differences to claim individuality. But today is a day of community, a shared victory, a day to highlight our sameness. What we all have in common is character and resilience, a sense of accomplishment. Today we've gained intellectual security. Through education, I have truly experienced the process of transformation. Before CWE, I wasn't a bad person. I've always had a base of morality, which I gained from my mother. And growing up in the Bronx, I learned a lot. But today, my vision has changed. My values, my standards, my level of discipline, my expectations, and specifically, my expectations have changed for myself, for today and for the future. I learned to pull back on putting expectations on the people and the things around me. Because having expectations for others and connecting your personal wins and losses with the actions or non-actions of others can be a very ambiguous position. What I realized was that satisfaction in life starts with ourselves. It starts with the decisions that we make, being able to understand them, and being strong enough to follow through. Before I faced this incredible challenge of seeking information and finding peace within myself, one of the biggest self-imposed obstacles that I faced was being too indecisive. I was indecisive about the direction I wanted to take in life, who I wanted to be, how I would get there. And I truly didn't believe that I had the power to determine my own destiny. Today, as we celebrate our united victory of perseverance and dedication, I encourage my peers to continue to make decisions, to be decisive, deciding what life means for you. Are you satisfied? Are you deciding or sliding? I have an acronym that I created, I try to keep in mind most times, and the acronym is PICK. And to pick is a form of choosing or making a decision. And the P stands for perspective, perseverance, purpose, passion. There were times I was disappointed, as we all have been at one time or another, disappointed with friends, family, by society, even by myself. Generalizations were taken on my behalf, assumptions, even some mistreatment. But eventually, in my mind, things began to be more about finding my life purpose, focusing less on how society affects me and more about how I could affect society. Essentially, this is a process of eliminating excuses. And speaking about purpose, it starts with expectations, setting goals for yourself, not being afraid to fall short. Understanding that the vulnerability that comes with the possibility of failure is to be embraced. And when I came to CWE, I did have a goal to earn a 4.0 GPA. Many people told me it wouldn't happen. You know, and I think that they thought they were helping me, trying to protect me from disappointment or from rejection. You know, Paul Sweeney says, true success is overcoming the fear of being unsuccessful. And I was once afraid, but today I'm not. I'm here with you in victory. Recognize and remember your purpose. And speaking about perspective, how one sees things or takes an approach, it's about your personal principles. That may mean going against your community, your friends, and whoever doesn't like this new version of you, this evolved version of you. We must acknowledge the command of conviction, the power of will. Be persistent. Even though circumstances and situations make us powerless at times, true belief in self is power, and it makes the unlikely attainable. The I is for investment, investing in yourself, taking time to reflect, to think, taking time to breathe, to understand. I is for imagination. Imagine life being different, being better. Believing in change and endless possibilities. I is for improvement. I work in a public high school, and one of the greatest challenges is creating goals that can be applied across the board, goals that are realistic for all of the students to achieve. And sometimes, as professionals on the front line, we must deal with the reality that all young people are not starting from the same position in the race of life. Many deal with unimaginable obstacles outside of the school doors, and with that, we must meet students where they are and encourage growth and change. This same idea applies to our own self-development. Challenge yourself to improve. From wherever you are, improve as a professional, improve as a parent, as a lover, as a friend, as a learner. Improve your health, your community, your standards, increase your happiness. The C is for consciousness, courage, change, commitment. Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Consciousness, the ability to face reality, to face our deepest insecurities. Where are you in life? How did you get there? And furthermore, where are you going? You know, not achieving my bachelor's degree was one of my greatest insecurities. You know, how could I consider myself an intellectual when I hadn't made the commitment to complete the task? And it's been a journey, but together we've reached a milestone. Einstein once said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. And what that means for me is that once you've created an objective, and you've managed those obstacles and reached your goal, it's time to create a new one. Never be content in your achievements. Today, you can self-identify as new, improved people. Doesn't that feel great? Do you welcome continued change? Do you have the courage to discard complacency and old standards? Or are you satisfied? And lastly, the K is for knowledge. When you make a decision to truly know yourself, to accept who you are today, deciding to know your heart, deciding to know your history, to know your shortcomings and your strengths, to know what it takes, and to know that you have it. Only then are you ready to learn and know other things and other people after you first have knowledge of self, but it starts with you. I'm leaving CWE with a changed perspective. I've gained a new sense of purpose and belief in ability. The question we now face, what legacy will you leave behind? Decide. How will education contribute to your lasting legacy? Decide. We've all shown resilience. We've dealt with obstacles in school, at work, in our personal lives. In defining a person, in defining their legacy, more significant than their achievements is their character. Whose lives have you impacted? Have you even impacted your own life? Decide. Do you have the character, the grit, the self-identified purpose to go even further than what you imagined? Decide. When you're on the highway in a traffic jam and you're finally able to pass the accident that each car stopped to look at for even 1 second, you can see the power in one. Traffic jams are like a microcosm of society where individuals can stop or go. All of our social issues, mostly connected to far-fetched, stale generalities, can be debunked if we decide. Together we can ascend. And for me, this is what my educational experience at CWE has been. People of all ages and backgrounds who made a decision to get behind the wheel and a decision about their life course. And somehow all of our routes ended up here together. We succeeded in reaching our destination. This destination is enlightenment. Before we think about the next task ahead, at least just for today, let's celebrate that. It's an honor to be one of the first to say congratulations. I'd like to say to my mother, I love you, you're my inspiration. You're the real MVP. In closing, I'd like to leave you with a few lines from the late, great Maya Angelou. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of a slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Congratulations.